You know, when I went to the theater to see this,
Mhm.
they're like, do you want a ticket to Top Gun? I said, no. I want the ticket to Top Bun.
Okay, that one's better than mine. Uh,
All right. So, Michael, how big of a fan of Bob's Burgers, the show, are you?
I look casual. Like I've watched it for like the first few seasons, and that's one since I always keep meaning to go back and watch it, and I just keep forgetting.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like I enjoy it whenever I do watch it. I was like, yeah, this is funny. Yeah, this is cool. And then I just completely forget about it and I never watched it again. Where do you stand on the Bob's Burgers fandom?
I consider myself a fan. My girlfriend is a huge fan,
Okay.
like nonstop since the series first showed or first debuted, its first shows. And she thinks there hasn't been a dip in quality. I disagree. I think within the last couple seasons, the show is either taking super thin plots and stretching them out, or they have too much plot stretched into, or squished into 20 minutes, which the show's been on for like 10 years. I think that's pretty normal.
Honestly, if it's only been the last couple seasons where it's been an issue, I'd say it's still a pretty good track record.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I don't keep up with watching new episodes as they're coming out day of or anything. My girlfriend does. So when if I'm with my girlfriends, then it's like it's Bob's Burgers time. I'm like, okay. Um,
Hey, we all got our one. No,
yeah. I mean, that's me with King of the Hill.
do they still make King of the Hill?
No, they're going to.
Are they really? I mean, I guess
Mike
that should surprise me.
Judge. Mike Judge is confirmed it with the oh, who was it? One of the other showrunners. But it's going to take place with an actual time gap from when the show ended to now.
I kind of appreciate that. I like it when
I do
shows
too.
do that. That makes more sense to me.
I do too. Um. Anyway,
So the Bob's Burgers movie. I assume if you like the show, you'll like the movie because it's basically just an hour and a half episode.
and that goes with what I was saying is that I felt this was the perfect time length it needed to be.
Yeah, no, like, and if we're like, I got a lot of laughs out of this. I enjoyed it just fine. It's
I
not
really
particularly,
appreciate it was very small scale.
yeah, like the
I
scale is
appreciate
simple.
that so much.
It's all about, again, indulgence of the characters, having fun one-liners. I was not expecting to be a musical, but it's also only like three musical
Really,
numbers.
my biggest issue is that it wasn't enough of a musical.
Um, Honestly, like the songs were catchy, so I wouldn't mind more songs in there. I just kept forgetting that Bob's Burgers had musical numbers at random spots.
So I think everybody who's seen this movie agrees that the first song is like song of the year. Like I would be completely okay with that winning the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
I'm trying to think, haven't there been a lot of other musicals this year? Come to think of it,
No, but it doesn't need to be a musical. It just needs to be a song for a film.
that's true. That's true.
Um, that was great. And then no songs for like 20 minutes, and then you're like, oh shit, that's right.
I know. Oh, that's right. Because there's like the Carney song, then there's the villain song.
The villain, which actually is not in the cast recording. I picked up the cast because as you can see right there, where's the my messy bed, I have
Yeah.
quite a lot of cast recordings, well into 4 digits.
Damn.
That sounds impressive, but you realize there's like 50 versions of Les Mis, 50 versions of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Touche.
Those all start to add up. And I've actually listened to most of them. I was a dramaturge. A lot of them for research purposes, and I got to keep them, and I had other people pay for them. It was sick.
That actually sounds pretty cool. I would take advantage of that.
So anyway, it's not on the cast recording or soundtrack, whatever you want to call it,
I'm kind of surprised by that.
which I guess is to not spoil anything.
I guess.
But at the same time, that sounds
Come on.
hilarious.
I mean, it's not like the mystery is hard to figure out. Like, I'm sure you guessed it before they made the reveal. I guessed it before they made the reveal.
Yeah, well, that character was in the show for like 2 or 3 episodes before. I wouldn't be surprised if they planted those seeds a few years ago just for this movie.
I mean, because you have to imagine they probably wrote this a long time ago.
Well, it was supposed to come out in 2019 or 2020.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's right, because
Yeah.
COVID and all that. Yeah.
Which is I think a year or two that character got added in, and it wasn't like a big deal. It's like, oh, there's. Should we get into spoilers?
I mean, I feel like at this point I'm so far behind on movies that people who are going to watch it probably already have.
All right, yeah, because I saw this on Memorial Day. It's been out for a while.
I am so fucking behind on shit. Like I feel like I have been since the year started. There was one brief period like, oh, I'm fairly caught up and stuff, and then another week passed. Like, oh no, I'm not. Yeah. Like even tomorrow, I got to review Men with Muha, and then which is not even theaters anymore, but we both saw it, so like it's might as well.
I missed out.
I've appreciated the movie the more I've had space away from.
I had no idea when Muha texted our group chat. I had no idea that aspect in the movie was there.
So did you look it up?
They kind of spoiled me. Well, they just said there's certain elements, and I was like, I was caught in unawares about this. No, I really want to see it.
Oh yeah, I was. I did not know that Emma was in there. So when it happened, I was going through some stuff.
Also makes me hype for the new Cronenberg.
Which movie I have seen. We're supposed to review that tomorrow too, but Muha isn't able to see it because like leaving theaters this week. But at the same, that's another one I've had to sit back and go like, huh, how do I feel about this?
I love Cronenberg, so I'm probably going to eat it up.
You probably will. But
so this movie,
yes, we'll review that one when it comes on streaming because that's when I'll be like, actually watch it. But anyway, yes, back to Bob's Burgers.
So the twist is that the fish odor cousin is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which again, they probably put that in just for this movie so they didn't have to create a character just for the movie and be like, oh, well, it's obviously the new guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they would have some very misunderstanding where they think it is, and then they're caught unawares, and then the real villain's like fucking Mr. Frond or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the fish odor cousin who showed up in 2 or 3 episodes of the series who's their lawyer. Well, I guess the plot is that if you've seen the trailers, there's this gigantic sinkhole in front of the Belcher restaurant.
Yes.
And they have a week to pay back their overdue loan or everything they use the loan for, which is basically just their entire kitchen gets repossessed.
Yes.
And then this sinkhole happens, and obviously they're getting no foot traffic because the street's closed.
Yep.
And Luis decides to go in there to show that she's not a baby, and they find a skeleton in there.
In the sinkhole, just to be clear.
In the sinkhole, yes, in the sinkhole. And a bullet from Mr. Fishodor's gun is found in the body. So everyone thinks that Fishodor did it because he's, a rich jerk. And it's been a while. What was Luis's hunch?
Luis's, I think she thought her brother did it. Or she thought his brother did it. She thought Felix did it, but what was her hunch that it wasn't Mr. Fishodor in the first place? Because he was a little too casual about a giant sinkhole. Where they thought he might have buried it.
Yeah, he didn't try to fill up the sinkhole right away.
I do want to point out one thing because you and I have both lived long enough to see many TV to movie done over the years, and I do kind of have to respect the amount of restraint that is in this plot compared to a lot of ones like it. Because the one that comes to mind for me, and this is a weird ass example to bring up, but you remember when they made Doug the movie?
That is a very weird example to bring up, but I totally get what you're about to say.
And I don't know why of all the ones I could have picked, that's the one that comes to mind. But when that one is like, hey, Doug, Doug, the show, but like a slice of life, weird ass town. Hey, what if they found a fish monster?
Creature of the Black Lagoon. Yeah.
And shit like that.
Totally unrelated to the entire tone of the series.
Yeah, exactly. And I was a little worried this movie's going to go in that direction because like the trailer has like robots and like alien looking things in there. And it turns out they're all just dream sequences. Basically.
I kind of figured that was going to happen.
Which I kind of figured out too, but there was also that part I was like, oh God, are they going to go with like a whole alien invasion subplot or something? It
was so easy for them to do because the Simpsons movie kind of did this where it was not really globetrotting, but they have to flee Springfield and they end up in Alaska and stuff. And there's a bit of that culture shock. It would have been so easy for Bob to like have the kids enter him in this cooking contest, and then he gets selected and they have to go out and fly to Europe, and the first round's in Milan, the second round's in
like
Paris, and then it's all the kids just being jerkhole Americans to a bunch of stereotypes.
No, but it keeps it relatively self-contained.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Because again, like when you have like, oh, we have a movie budget, we got to go bigger, we got to do all these things. Like, no, you don't. You really
Yeah.
don't. So on that regard, you really do have to get some movie props for just like knowing what it is, knowing like this is my lane. We are good in this lane. We're gonna stick to it. We're not gonna get too extravagant. We're gonna use the budget to make our animation smoother and more vibrant.
Well, it
Um,
looked great. That opening sequence again was fantastic.
yeah, like the motion and all like stuff is like really smooth, and I appreciate like how they do it in like subtle ways. That's clear. Like, okay, we're on a Hollywood budget, but we're not changing the game. It's still Bob's Burgers when you break it down.
Speaking of budget, I just looked it up because I heard this movie didn't do so hot in the box office.
Yeah, I can't imagine what.
30 million worldwide gross.
What was the budget?
The budget is mysteriously absent.
Well, I'm sure they'll make their money back on
Following
DVD sales. Uh,
DVD,
least-
are you 50?
okay, you know, I have a cold. I have an excuse. Let me have this.
I'm sure this would have been significantly more successful if it went right to Hulu or Disney Plus or something, you know?
My point is like the show's been on for 10 years. They're gonna make their money back somehow.
Yeah, they truly believed in this product not having a same day theater and streaming deal.
So
Yeah.
like at the very, I don't know what the full story behind it is. I just know that for what it's worth, like granted, doesn't this come out the same weekend as Top Gun, so that probably didn't help things.
Yeah. I'm shocked. Well, actually, I'm not shocked it's doing so well. I'm shocked it's actually reviewing well.
I mean, I know I saw it, and I stand by what I said in the review. The planes went whoosh, and I went yay. So like it did exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah.
The thing about Top Gun compared to this movie, at the very least, is that Top Gun kind of became this unfortunate avatar of like bullshit right wingers.
It's a movie about the U.S. military.
Although like, yeah, it's still propaganda, but it's still very like it's very apolitical beyond that. Like it's like, yeah, we gotta stop the Russian Pakistani Herbert, you know, it's that kind of thing.
You have to stop not Iran.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like it's in Iran, but it's not by Iran. It's like adjacent, kind of, sort of.
All right.
Well,
if this released back in 2020, I'm sure this would have done gangbusters.
I'm sure it would have.
This is, it's a popular show. It has lots of appeal, lots of sway. Don't think this is one that's going to get people running back to the theaters.
No,
I liked it quite a bit.
I did too. Again, like for what it's worth, I laughed quite a bit. The characters are always fun. I enjoy those voice actors. And honestly another little thing I will appreciate. I do like about Bob's Burgers just in general that's amplified nice here. It is just nice to see like an odd family that's not actively dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Like everyone seems to like each other. Everyone seems to get along with each other. I forget their names because I'm terrible at names, but Bob and his wife seem to get along very, very well. They don't hate each other. It's not that kind of shit. They're odd, but
the reason that Bob's Burgers has stayed so long, and I think technically Family Guy is still Fox's most successful non-Simpsons cartoon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But like I think that's part of the reason Bob's Burgers really catapulted the way it did, because it's so
wholesome.
So comfort food.
Yeah. Ironically.
So it makes sense because it's just a show that isn't filled with Family Guy's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I love American Dad, but that show's getting off the fucking rails.
Like, it's not cynical. It's not jaded. It's not like a bunch of characters who just actively just fucking hate each other. Like, especially in Family Guy comes to mind. And it's like, and that's honestly just refreshing to see, because so much, especially of like that 90s, early 2000s animation was just, that's all it was, because the whole like, oh, we're unhappily married it's such a common comedy trope that I just can't fucking stand anymore. It is refreshing. It's like, oh, hey, they're married, but they actually like each other. And like even like the third act of the film, which honestly kind of took a direction like, this is kind of horrifying when you actually stop and look at it. With them being buried alive. Like, I'm kind of sitting there like, oh Jesus, this took a turn.
And that's actually another thing, longtime fans like my girlfriend's freaking out because this is the first time you see Bob's mom. And it would have been like another thing to have like Bob's mom still alive? We have to go on this road trip to find her. And then it's like, Bobby, the real restaurant's your family, son.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, but like and they talk about how Luis is brave, not because of the rabbit ears, but she got them for being brave.
Yeah.
And then Bob's like, yeah, my mom used to wear a pink ski cap all the time, and you just reminded me of her that day, so we got you this.
Yeah, that was very, very sweet. And again, especially given to my experiences this year, that scene got me pretty good.
So that fan service doesn't go super heavy.
No.
With that. It's like, oh, wow, this is actually a really organic way to bring this in, and probably will have some ramifications on the show.
Maybe down the line, but like
unlike a certain other Fox family animated sitcom.
Yeah, but like even like yeah, it was very simple, it was very restrained, it knew when to serve its time in the story, it didn't overstay its welcome. It was a touching scene and a touching sequence that again involved them being buried alive, which for me is like my top 3 most terrifying situations to be in ever.
Well, I certainly hope that's not from experience.
No, thankfully not, but it's always kind of like it's either that or being pushed off a plane. I think for me, I'm just like, one of the worst ways for me to die is me like sit there and know that I'm gonna die and knowing there's nothing I can do about it until it's over. That is anyway, so claustrophobia is a thing, is my point.
Understandable.
But yeah, either way, like everyone plays really well off each other. It knows when it hits strong points. It knows how to utilize his characters well. It doesn't really miss a beat. I wouldn't even say there's any like bad scenes in the film.
Yeah, my big issue is that it's not enough of a musical, and this is a really weird nitpick. I don't know a lot of like the terminology behind it, but how like Sunny Side Up starts and how Lucky Ducks start, because they both start with that kind of like neighboring notes, da na 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 na.
Oh yeah,
and then Lucky Ducks is da 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 da. It's like you're kind of like, when you listen to them on the soundtrack back to back, you're like, oh.
Kind of runs the similar
pattern.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is probably why there's only a few songs in there, because maybe they doesn't have time to stretch it, like create more diversity within the soundtrack. But either way, for what they are,
Lucky Ducks, every other song kicks ass.
I mean, there's only 2 other songs outside of Lucky Duck. Isn't there, or did I miss one?
There's Sunny Side Up Summer, Lucky Ducks, on which I don't even know its title because it's not on the soundtrack. And then the I still love this name, the Itty Bitty Ditty Committee.
All right, yeah.
That was the perfect ending.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked when they explored about Tina with the whole having a boyfriend thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're not afraid that I'm going to say no. You're afraid I'm going to say yes. And you'll get there and be like, wow, this guy sucks.
Yeah, no, that was like...
I think every single person's had that.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about that. But that was also like, that was a very real thing. I think I was watching like, well, that hit home a little too close right now.
Yeah, same.
It's like
all this time, and then it's like, wow, you kind of suck.
Because like it's more like when the image... Yeah, it's more like the... Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I said, after you get to know them for more than a few hours at a time, when you just like barely know somebody,
Absolutely. And then it's more like the fantasy version of what you've created in your head doesn't come close to me in the reality. And you're sitting there like, I have made an error, but I'm still going to stick it out for 3 years because I don't have any other options. Anyway, not saying that. I felt a little too real. That was not relating to my own experiences. I was pulling a random example. But now no one's going to believe me.
Say, my girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. So what are you saying?
I didn't know that.
I was like, wow, dude. Dick move.
Honestly, it probably pertains more to my own previous experiences than yours. So don't take it that way. I would never be that passive aggressive asshole to insert a dig like that in a Bob's Burgers review. What kind of gigantic monster would I be if there's like just coded messages?
Jimmy Pesto Senior. Oh, I love this tidbit.
Oh, which one?
So Jimmy Pesto Sr. had no lines.
I not until you mentioned it. Like,
Ooh, they had to write that guy out.
what did he do?
You don't know?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
The voice actor for Jimmy Pesto Sr. was on the Capitol Jan 6.
Oh my god. I did not know that.
They're like, yeah, we need a. So in retrospect, the pandemic was probably the best thing. It's like, we can just work around this now.
Wow. Okay. You know,
my other big point was Gail wasn't in the movie. She showed up in the credits, but she wasn't in the movie.
Which one's Gail again?
Linda's sister, the one voiced by Megan Mullally.
It's been a long. Is she like the one with the wears a pink shirt at school all day? Or
Pink shirt at school?
no, I'm thinking like one of the students. But never mind.
Remember the episode where the woman paints the animal butts?
Vaguely, it's been a long fucking time.
That's her, the one with all the cats.
Oh, okay, it's coming back to me now. All right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, she's my favorite character. But also, you know what? It really didn't go too hard on pointless fan service.
No.
There's some times where like Teddy's crying at the cart and you see the raccoon, I'm like, oh, he's gonna tell, like, say, go away, little King Trash Mouth, not right now. And sure enough, that's what happened. You're like, oh, okay, well, that's your cheap fan service for the for this movie.
That being said, I like how it came back later.
Bad.
And that being said, I appreciate what came back later, whereas when he just runs out there to grab like an olive cartlet, is because like I'll tell you later. He says to the raccoon, he runs back out.
Oh
so
yeah,
even like that had like had a grander purpose for a punchline as opposed to just like, hey, that's a thing from the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So even in those in that regard, like every setup here has a punchline. It serves a purpose.
Actually, that makes me think Tina hasn't really had like zombie fantasies in a while, I think. But I think people just know that Tina is the girl who had zombie fantasies in the past. So those kind of show up again. And I'm like, has that really happened in the show for a while? Then again, I don't watch every single new episodes they come out. So
see, that's a case where I didn't even know like that was a reference to previous episodes. I just like based on what I know that character, that is like, yeah, that seems like something that would happen.
Oh, that was like a recurring joke for the first 3 or 4 seasons.
It's been a long time since I've watched Bob's Burgers. But either way, like I just know the characters by cultural osmosis, and I was like, yeah, okay, sexy zombies, that tracks.
Yeah.
So even if you don't get the references, you can still get the joke. So yeah, like for all intents and purposes, this movie works perfectly fine. It is entertaining for exactly what it's worth.
If you're a huge fan, odds are you already went to the theaters to see it.
Yeah.
If you're a casual fan, you can wait for streaming. If you're not a fan, just wait for streaming. Don't be on a rush to go out and buy this in the theater if you already don't think you're gonna like it.
Unless you can go like for like Discount Tuesday or something. But
yeah, sure.
But now you have the opinions of 2 nerdy white people. So
I'm only half white.
Okay.
But the half of me that is white agrees with you.
Okay. Just gonna pull that on me. All right. So yeah, do you have anything else you want to talk about this? I can't really think of anything else.
No, it was a fun movie for a good show. It was exactly what I expected, and it was what I didn't expect based on previous TV show to film adaptations that just went off the fucking rails, and I really appreciate it for that.
No fish, Monster in the Black Lagoon.
Yep. Again, if you like the show, odds are you already bought your ticket and saw it. If you're on the fence, just wait for it to come on Hulu or Disney Plus.
Yeah, even if you're not a fan of the show, or you haven't watched the show, like you can still watch the movie devoid of any knowledge of the show and still have a good time out of it.
Probably.
Like there's really not a lot here.
I'm not blank enough of a slate to really say that. My opinion is already kind of preconceived, I suppose.
Fair enough.
I don't think I could say if you're not a fan, you can go into this and be really captivated.
I'm rephrasing that from like not a fan as opposed to like you just haven't seen it. Not that you don't like it, you just haven't.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right. If you haven't seen it, if you think it's funny, you're probably gonna go on Hulu and watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I think it's all we have for this one. So I still need to watch the new Jurassic Park movie.
I have heard nothing but awful things.
Me too. So I'm dreading it.
I heard awful things from people who like the second Jurassic World movie.
There are people that like the second Jurassic World movie.
Evidently, and they all four of them I know fucking hate this one.
Damn. It's funny because we got the trailer for that with Top Gun. I was sitting with Grant and I was like, dinosaurs in the real world. That's an awesome concept. They're gonna fuck this up.
I actually didn't know this was the third one. I thought this was the second one.
You didn't miss much. Well, I mean, that's not true.
Like,
you missed a lot, but it's all dumb.
I was like, there's a second Jurassic World, and my girlfriend's like, this is the third one. I'm like, there's a second one? I just completely missed the second one, I guess.
Yeah, that one is the one with the clone little girl who releases dinosaurs on the world because they're like her.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that happens. That's what leads into the third movie.
All right.
So
I'm probably better than Jurassic Park 3.
Debatable, honestly. I'm gonna drag somebody to go fucking see it. Hopefully.
I'm gonna be busy for like the next rest of the summer, so it's probably not gonna be me.
I had a feeling. You're doing big. That's okay. You're improving your life. You're doing bigger, better things. Go do that. We'll catch up when we can. And then of course we got Men, which me and Muha will finally be talking about tomorrow, and then Buzz and Lightyear comes out this Friday. So,
is that only in theaters?
I think it's only in theaters to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't know if I want to pay a movie ticket to go see a Buzz Lightyear standalone super serious action version.
I don't know, it looks pretty. That's Chris Evans, so like, all right, I'll watch it. I'm intrigued by the trailers. But anyway, I think it's all we got for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. See you later.
All right, see ya.